Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to remind you guys that you need to watch the stories that you're telling yourself. In other words, you need to watch your assumptions, your expectations, the conclusions you draw about the 3D, and so on. Because what happens, as you probably know if you've been practicing conscious manifesting for at least some time, is that your stories do tend to come true sooner or later. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So as I just said in my intro, your stories is probably the most important thing when it comes to your conscious manifesting. In other words, the stories you're telling yourself about your desire and about your manifestation. Are you actually expecting your desire to manifest? Do you think it is possible for it to manifest? When you're looking at the 3D, at the circumstances, at things that have happened in the past, what conclusions do you actually draw? What stories are you telling yourself about all this? How are you viewing the conditions and the situations in your 3D? How are you viewing your manifestation? And what do you actually expect when it comes to your desire manifesting? The thing about the stories we tell ourselves is that, like I said in my intro, they tend to come true. And it might not be immediately, it might be weeks or months, and in some cases even years before they come true. But if they are a regular story we tell ourselves, if they are the dominant story we tell ourselves about something, oh, you bet they're going to come true. And I bet if you look back in your life and in your experiences, even before you became a conscious manifestor, all the things you had been telling yourself unconsciously over months or years, they have probably come true and they have probably panned out in one way or another. And of course, what's interesting here is that at first, maybe they were not even true. Maybe they were not even true for quite a while. Maybe you didn't even fully believe that they were going to come true, but you kept telling that to yourself. And lo and behold, they manifested. Let's say you were in a relationship with someone and it was an amazing relationship and your person loved you so much and they were so into you, but somehow you kept telling yourself that they're going to reject me, they're going to leave me, they don't love me, they don't like me. You were always fearful of losing them. And even if that didn't hold true for them in the beginning, and maybe it didn't even hold true for them for weeks, months, years, at some point, they ended up reflecting that back to you. They ended up manifesting that for you. I have a very dear friend who unfortunately and very unconsciously kept telling herself that she's never going to be able to be pregnant and have a child of her own and she's going to need to adopt instead. She would tell herself that for years without realizing what she was doing in her subconscious, without realizing that she was saturating her subconscious with this story and letting this story go unquestioned. And now that it's time for her to actually try for a baby, she's finding a lot of infertility problems. And she's finding out that truly it has actually manifested in a way where she's actually having a lot of obstacles and a lot of hindrances in having babies naturally. I'm sure you've all heard about people who have been very rich and for whatever reason they had a fear that they are going to lose everything. Or maybe they were even joking about losing everything someday. And they kept repeating that story over and over and over again over months or years, perhaps because they thought it was funny, perhaps they didn't even believe it, and yet one day they became bankrupt. And of course, that also applies the opposite way. People who always told themselves that they were going to be famous one day, and lo and behold, one day they became famous. People who always told themselves, even if they were dirt poor, that one day I'm going to have loads and loads of money. And lo and behold, it ended up panning out. It ended up happening. People who told themselves that I'm going to meet that celebrity or I'm going to marry that celebrity or I'm going to date that celebrity, and lo and behold, it happened. So it truly is all about your stories, you guys. What stories are you telling yourself? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your life? What do you believe about the world? Even if these stories are not true right now, Even if the 3D is showing otherwise right now, if you continue with these stories, they are going to materialize in your 3D one day, sooner or later. And that goes both ways. That goes both in the case where you have a good situation that you like and you keep, let's say, quote unquote, jinxing it by giving opposite stories and stories that are sabotaging you. Even if it's for fun, even if you're just joking, your subconscious doesn't know about jokes. You're still saturating and impressing your subconscious with that story of what you expect to happen. And so one day, this favorable situation might turn into an unfavorable situation. So be very, very careful about that. But also the opposite of a situation that you want to change, and maybe it's showing unfavorable right now. If you keep telling yourself that it's going to change, especially if you keep believing it, if you start feeling it a little bit, and you keep insisting on that and persisting on that and telling yourself that story, you guys, it's going to change. Even if it's not true right now, it is going to change sometime in the future. You can rest assured about that. Because this is exactly how your subconscious works. This is how the world works. You are one with everyone else and everything else in the universe. So if you repeat a story over and over and over and over again over an extended period of time, in some cases, not even an extended period of time, in some cases it can happen fast, you end up with your story coming true, even if it wasn't initially true. Even if the person that is involved in the story didn't actually think or believe that or feel this way, eventually they end up reflecting it to you. And your story ends up coming true, even if it didn't start out by being true. So I wanted to make this video today to remind you to be very, very careful of what your stories are and what stories you're telling yourself about anything in your life, any area in your life. Both your desires and your manifestations that you're manifesting consciously, but also all the other things in your life, all the other areas in your life that you either want to sustain if they're favorable to you, or you want to change if they're unfavorable to you at this moment. So once again, you guys, watch your stories, because whatever story you repeat a lot is bound to come true sooner or later, even if it's not true right now. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.